Good morning, welcome, and we'll start with a bracha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah.
Amen.
Let's see if this will work. There we are. So we were talking about women that a kohen, a regular kohen, is permitted to marry. And we'd gotten to the word halala, which basically comes from the word lechalel, to profane. As, by the way, notice the difference between chalel and halel, right? Just a little space in there. And you've got to be so careful as to how you pronounce it, because sometimes we have lahodot or lehalel, and instead people say lahodot or lechalel, and it has a whole different meaning. So instead of to praise, it means to profane. At any rate, here we go. So achalala, according to Rashi, shenolda min hapsulim shebakahuna. So she is who is the offspring of one of those who render the kohen pasul. So cannot count as a kohen. Kagon, for example, bat almana mi kohen gadol, the daughter of a widow who was married to a kohen gadol, a high priest. So the kohen gadol is not allowed to marry a widow. A regular kohen is permitted to marry a widow, no problem. Or bat grusha, or the daughter of a grusha, a divorcee. The chalutza. Chalutza is sort of an interesting situation. That has to do with a situation where they're brothers and the one brother dies childless. He's married and his wife now falls to the surviving brother for yibum. It's called yibum, for what is called a levirate marriage. And the Torah allows a ceremony where the surviving brother can refuse to marry her, and the reason it's called chalutza is because it comes from a word which means to remove a shoe, and part of the ceremony is there's a special shoe that is put on him, and the widow removes this shoe and basically and spits in front of him and says this should be done to a brother who refuses to, in other words, provide seed for his deceased brother. So that is, in a sense, a divorce. So it's not a formal divorce, but it is a kind of divorce. And for this reason, she is considered a divorcee. Mi kohen hedyot. A kohen hedyot means a regular priest, as opposed to a high priest. I don't know if it goes on at all. No. Yeah. Okay. V'chein, and likewise, shenit chalala min hakuna al biyat. So, and likewise, where she is no longer is fitting for the priesthood, al yedei biyat echad min hapsulim lakula, because she has had relations with one of those who are pasul, who are not considered appropriate to be priests. Meaning, and we're talking about a kohen who, for whatever reason, became pasul. Now, what exactly that pasul means, I do not know, because are they talking, later on it talks about certain types of physical deformities that mean that the person cannot actually perform functions at the altar. But that particular individual is entitled to all the perks of a kohen. So I don't know that it refers to that. It doesn't seem to me that's right. So exactly what we're talking about here, we'd have to look further. Maybe some commentary on Rashi explains what that is. And maybe it could be referring to a woman who had, because they were able to have more than one wife. So it's possible that this Kohen had married a woman he was not supposed to marry, and he himself now became a halal, right? And he married this woman. So that would definitely fit this particular case. I think, yeah. All right. Let's see if we want to go on with this. Yep, we did this entire verse and it went over here. I'm going to excuse myself for 1 second, okay? So I'm going to stop the share and allow you to have a conversation with.
Talk amongst yourselves.